Hello, and welcome to this presentation, AI in the Classroom. My name is Monica Howard. Some people call me Shay, and I'm the Teaching, Learning, and Curriculum Librarian at Peabody Library. As we all navigate new spaces with AI and machine learning, it's important to understand that, like any new idea, it's a discovery, and learning will always take place. So, no matter if you are a person who already have um, explore with AI, or if you're a person that's new to it, just understand again that it's a discovery and it's something new, so have fun with it. The learning outcomes for this presentation, first, I would like to have you to discover AI tools to use in a classroom setting and to reflect on the usability of AI tools in various education spaces. The intent of this presentation is to see how the tools that I present to you today can assist you in whatever learning place that you're in, whether it's in an elementary classroom, middle school, high school, higher learning. These are some different tools that you can bring into your lesson to make them more engaging and interactive. I encourage you to have fun and take time to play around with the tools that you'll be introduced to today. So during the in-person presentation, I asked the audience to engage in this meter icebreaker, I wanted them to take a minute and reflect on words that come to mind when you hear the word AI. And you can even think about it as well. When you hear someone speaking about AI, or when you hear the word AI, what are some words or phrases that come to your mind? Some of those thoughts that the participants shared were machine learning, convenience, life-changing, learning, the future, efficient. Some other words were plagiarism, the ethics, job loss, environmental impact, and someone even said that they're worried. Some of these ideas that were shared were positive, but there are also some ideas that were shared where the participants talked about some of the negative effects. As with anything new, just understand that there are pros and cons, so it's important as you explore to also be mindful of those pros and cons and how they can affect your classroom learning. So thinking about AI, anything new that I have to research or to think about, I like to understand what it is. So, according to the Oxford Dictionary, AI is the capacity of computers or other machines to exhibit or simulate intelligent behavior. As with any advancement or new thing, it's important to understand the history of it. I'm pretty sure that there is more information out there explaining how AI first began, but I wanted to just share a little bit of the historical timeline about AI. In 1950, Alan Turing, a mathematician, posed a question to a group of his researchers and colleagues. Can machines think? By coming up with this question, he wanted to understand if a computer would be able to fool a human being. Now, when you think about AI, I know sometimes we focus more on the technology piece, the computer piece, but AI has been around for a while. Think about Star Wars, right? Where you had robots in a scientific way. I don't know if any of you have seen the animated show, The Jetsons, which also utilize robots and computers in a different way. So we've always been fascinated at the creation of robotic representations and their ability to behave intelligently. So this again was a valid question posed by Turing. Can machines think? Um, he wanted to know if a computer could fool a human into believing that it is really a human. then that machine deserves to be called intelligent, right? This thought experiment captured the interest of many scientists and helped to progress the birth of AI. Within his unit, 10 scientists had a goal to be able to describe each feature of human intelligence so precisely that a machine could be built to simulate it. And then in 1960, the first AI robot was created for General Motors, where we had the chatbot Eliza that was utilized to help with the creation of these machines. The bottom line is AI, even though it may seem like a new concept, is not brand new at all. My official introduction was for to AI for me was in my classroom. I was teaching sixth grade social studies, and we were talking about ancient civilizations. And one of my students raised her hand and made a connection and said, "Oh, this is like AI." And I said, "What is AI?" And my classroom explained to me what AI was. I can think back, this was about 8 years ago. And again, it's not a new concept, it's just a concept that we are advancing more. So we want to make sure to understand it better. So, as we grapple with AI, it's important to know how to use AI tools efficiently in order for it to have the best impact. So, AI impacts, we got to understand that it is an idea generator, right? We can use it for student engagement. We as teachers sometimes have to come up with adaptations to differentiate learning, so it can also be used to personalize learning. Why does AI matter? Because it can benefit students. It can enhance our work. It can be an advancement in technology. It can be time consuming and require work to implement, but it's important for us to understand and know that in the backside of learning and being able to utilize this, it will help to benefit us in the long run. There are some challenges to consider, as with anything that's new. Of course, access. There's been a lot of talk about do all students have access to AI and are taught how to utilize AI? Or are you at a school that don't have access to technology to be able to utilize AI in an efficient way? Another challenge is biases. We got to understand that within any new item that comes to play, there are the biases, like who is the one that's inputting this data in the chat box. So we got to be aware of biases within our world and also our own biases. And then the last one is to understand that it's a machine, not a human. I was at a workshop called Generative AI in Writing here at Vanderbilt. And one thing that stuck out to me was that one of the participants says that it's a machine and can't connect things that are not connected unless we, as the humans, make those connections. So again, AI is more or less of us inputting our prompts and our thoughts and our ideas, and then the machine in turn taking those thoughts and those ideas and helping to create the system of being able to utilize it. But AI is not a human, so it doesn't take into the account the emotional aspects and the feeling aspects of that. So it's important for us to understand that concept and share it with our students. AI can't think for humans, nor does it have our emotions. So again, know the audience specifically that you're catering to. I appreciated this chart that came from the book AI for School Teachers. It's just a table that shares some of the strengths of artificial and human intelligence. And I appreciate it because it has on one side why AI is better than us. And then on this side, on the right, it has why we as humans are better than AI. If you take a look at what AI can do better than us, AI is really good at pattern matching, classification of objects into particular groups, processing large amounts of data, because again, it is a machine, storing large amounts of data, collecting and integrating data from multiple locations and sensors, some of which may be monitoring biological systems. And then on the other hand, what can we as humans do better than AI? We have academic intelligence. We have the meta-knowing intelligence, being able to recognize and generate good evidence on which decisions can be made about whether or not the information is true. We have the social intelligence. Again, we have the emotional intelligence. And the last one says that we have the ability to move seamlessly between different locations, people, places, and environments. So again, AI is a machine. We are humans, so it's important to utilize both of those ideas simultaneously whenever you're utilizing AI. Please check out the output that you receive once you put in those prompts, because just because it is a machine, it makes mistakes sometimes. So it's up to us as humans to be observant of those mistakes and know how to make corrective action. So now to the fun part. So bringing AI into the classroom, it's important for you to be creative. Don't you know that you already use it every day? Um, on our cell phones, if you go into Google, they have AI Assist right there. And I don't know about you, but that's the first thing that I look to and read whenever I am doing a search for something. Whenever we are texting, we have the predictive text that pops up. I know you've been scrolling on social media before, and you'll stop and look at a post, and then all of a sudden you have the same post that keeps popping up. All of these things are already AI. Whether we want to receive it or not, it's important for us to understand that it is a tool and we can utilize it as long as we are aware of how to uh, use it ourselves so that we can teach our students how to efficiently use it. So I got this chart, has 40 AI tools for teachers on Ditch That Textbook. The ones that are circled are the ones that I'm gonna focus on today. You may have already experimented with these or not, but these are the ones that I'm gonna use today. I will add that I have used the Classroom Magic on Canva before, and it's really cool and fun to explore with. I've also used the Padlet, which is a very cool interactive um, tool that you can use within your presentations, whether it's a presentation for school or for professional development. It gives you that interaction that you can use with your audience. But the ones that are circled are the ones that I'm going to focus on today. Again, take your time to do your own discoveries to see how any of these AI tools can benefit your learning spaces, and share those with your colleagues and your friends. If you are inspired to even reach out to us here at Peabody Library and share some things that you have done that's really cool, please reach out and share those things with us as well. We'll be glad to hear about them. So the first, um, sorry. The first tool I want to talk about is SlideGo. So with SlideGo, I played around with this during the February's when I presented this presentation here at Vanderbilt. So I wanted to put in um, a prompt that would be relevant for that time frame. So in SlideGo, I put the prompt in, can you share a quote about AI and coordinate it with Valentine's and Black History, because again, it was during the month of February. So these are three quotes that SlideGo provided me. The first one says, artificial intelligence. It's not just about machines, it's about understanding our own intelligence and how we connect with each other. This Valentine's week, let's celebrate the love for learning. As we honor Black History Month, remember that every great innovator, including those in AI, started with curiosity and a passion for knowledge. Let's embrace that journey together. And the last quote, learning about AI teaches us not only about technology, but also about empathy, collaboration, values that resonate during Valentine's Week and throughout Black History Month. This will be a great tool to utilize, especially in the middle or high school level, even higher education, if you wanted to start a quote for the day. Yes, there are a lot of great quotes that are out there, but what greater tool can you utilize and have your students to be able to create their own quotes for the day? Or you create a quote and have them to respond on it and tell what it means. So this again came from SlideGo. So they have the capability of creating quotes. I want to share some other tools from SlideGo. So here on the web page, of course, you do have to create an account and things like that. That I'm all of the um, sites that I'm showing you today, I did just create the basic free accounts. Of course, you can make payments and have greater access, but for what I'm using them for, I just went along with the free. So here they have AI tools, presentation maker, PD to PowerPoint. So if you got a really cool PD that you found and you want to make that into a PowerPoint so you can use it in a lesson, you can do that. They have the lesson plan generator, icebreaker generator, and I'm going to share with you how I utilize that from SlideSgo. Exit tickets, great way for you to find out what the students have learned after you have done a lesson. You got the quiz maker, and you can even create slideshows. If you are one of those people who may not be very good at creating a presentation, it takes too much time, you have this tool to be able to create those for you. They also have templates that you can select from. Thought that's pretty neat with Disney. They got a Disney Pixar character template. They have more templates that you can use, or of course, you can create your own, and they have those here listed with colors and everything. I really appreciate the Education Hub. We as teachers sometimes, of course, have a hard time with finding time for ourselves and being able to not spend all of our personal time with making plans and things like that. So here in the Education Hub, they already have plans and templates created for you. All you have to do is do a little bit of tweaking to make it personalized for your classroom. So they have it by content, and I love how just looking and browsing through this list, thinking about school getting ready to start soon, about me, back to school. They have printables, workshop templates, and even color pages. They have these listed by subjects. So whatever topic you are teaching on, they have those listed here. And then you have your grade levels. Just to give you an idea, I'm gonna click on the math subject to just show you what's here. Here are some math presentation templates. So if you go through, they got 753 templates for pre-K, elementary, middle school, high school, and then you have a list here that you can look at. And again, once you click on these, you can see how it can fit your classroom and definitely work on tweaking it, but you already have them here set up and ready for you to go. And then this here, the Learn Spot. If you're interested in reading blogs, getting some tutorials, they even have this here for you too, which is really cool. So going back to the icebreaker, I put in the prompt engine. I'm teaching a workshop to introduce using AI tools in the classroom to teachers. Can you create a fun, interactive icebreaker for the group? Now, whenever I plug this in, it asks me who's the audience, and I said teachers, and it asked me how many would be in the group. And the purpose of that is based off of the activities that it provided for me. So I got 3 different icebreakers. I got the AI Toolbox Challenge, gives me the objective, and you can even plug the objectives in the prompting tool to be able to maximize what it is that you receive. But then it also has the materials that you need, gives you the instructions, how long it should take, and even a wrap up. Okay, and then it tells you this activity not only allows participants to interact and collaborate with each other, but also begins to familiarize them with the tools that they're going to learn more about in the workshop. So if you already have your objectives for your workshop or your class, you can type those into your prompting engine and it will give you, it'll make it specific to what exactly it is that you're teaching your class. The second one is an AI tool matchup. Then I have one that's an AI Pictionary challenge. Again, this is a machine, right? I'm a human. I'm going to read through this and adapt it based off of my audience or my classroom or whoever I'm instructing to make sure that I can get the best benefit out of it. So it's important for you to realize that even though it provides these things for us, it's important for us to look through them and make sure that they are meeting what needs we have. And again, that's called SlideGo. Some other AI tools that I want to talk to you about. The first one is Claude. Um, be sure to add details in your prompt. Have a conversation in your prompt boxes, guys, because the more that you can input and share, the better it will be to fit the needs of those that you're teaching. And then I also like that it can transcribe notes. If you're differentiation instruction, you got EL students in your classroom. Um, what a great tool to be able to utilize so that you can assist them as well in their learning. So let's take a look at Claude. So Claude, just want to share with you. It's just like any other chatbot. You have your engine here for you to plug in if you want to do your new chat. How can I help you today? And you can just go ahead and type it in. Tell them what it is that you're looking for. They have these tools already prompted here that can give you a start in case your mind is blank and you don't know what to start writing about. They also have this one with the learn. I want to develop teaching strategies. I want to develop concept maps. I want to create assessment questions. Help me to understand a complex topic from scratch. These are just some templates to help you get to thinking about how you want to set up your prompt. They got a coding one, how you can develop different coding systems, life stuff. Maybe it's not even directed toward teaching. Maybe you have some life things that you want to work on and you want to get some ideas for that. I have some friends and some family members who say they use chats all the time, chat GPT or AI, in order to help them with personalized things that's going on in their life. So how do I build better relationships? How do I create a cleaning routine? How do I plan educational pursuits? I'm gonna click on that one. So here is the prompt that came up based off what I clicked. Hey Claude, can you plan educational pursuits? If you need more information from me, ask me one or two key questions right away. Here are the two key questions. If you think I should upload any documents that would help you do a better job, let me know that. You can use tools you have access to if they'll help you better accomplish this task. Do not use analyst tools. Please keep your responses friendly, brief, and conversational. So here's what it gave me. God, I said I'd love to help you plan. To create most useful plan for you, I need to understand what is your subject or skill area? What are you going to focus on? What is your current situation? Are you looking for formal classes, study options, or a mix? And what's your timeline? And if I could upload my transcripts, my career goal, or study materials, that could help. And if you look down here, this is the way I can be able to do that and upload anything that I would like to do that with. Okay, so again, this is Claude, and this again is the free software that I've used. I've done a few chats. I want to share this one with you. So, as being a teacher, I used to teach first grade. I plugged my prompt here and I said, hey, I'm a teacher and I would like to introduce AI to my first graders. How would you suggest I introduce AI to them? So Claude responded, for first graders, I recommend introducing AI through fun, relatable examples and hands-on activities. Gives me some examples here. Um, you could create interactive lessons where you play a simple game, use drawing, create a simple training exercise, and then it even gives me some key points to think about. So I'm like, I like that. But can you give me an example of a 15-minute, because I know those first graders are not gonna last through a longer than that, interactive lesson with a fun icebreaker to open up the lesson. So here is my 15-minute lesson plan with a fun icebreaker. What first grader don't know Simon Says, right? So this icebreaker is called Robot Says. So I'm going to start by pretending to be a robot. I can only understand exact instructions. So it just goes through and give me that icebreaker, gives me the lesson to teach them, and then it gives me an activity, right? So I said, okay, I want to know how to assess my learners. What's an individual activity I can do to test their knowledge of what they learned? So Claude gave me this worksheet, all right? My AI helper. Now, again, being the human that I am, I'm looking at this worksheet and I'm saying, this is not for first grade. What is it missing? It is missing illustrations. All right. So I said, can you add illustrations with this? Because it's a very good worksheet. It has all the topics that I want to hit, but I want some illustrations. So here is that worksheet. So I have a mascot in the corner, gave me a box versus that little space to draw an AI helper. A line for the name tells me to circle what they can do because I know that's what a first grader would like to do. And then draw a line to match. So this looks a little bit better for me for my first graders. Okay. Um, as you are interacting with these chatbots, the more information that you can feed into the prompt engine, the more you can get from it as far as what you're sharing with your class. So think about that. Like I did, I just went through and had a conversation, and as I conversated, I got my inputs out. So again, this is Claude AI. The next tool I want to talk about is KhanMigo. Now, you guys may have access or know about Khan Academy. Khan Academy has a lot of tools to help with learning and in the classroom. So KhanMigo is just an offset of Khan Academy. What I love about KhanMigo is, like any other tool that I've shared today, are the resources that it has. Okay, you have the ability to add your school. Again, this is a free um, sign up that I did, but as I was signing up, it did ask me what school district I'm in, what school I'm in. So as you put those things in there, you could possibly get a school membership or things like that if it's something that goes within your budget. But I just have the free tool and you can use that as well. So here are some tools that KhanMigo has a Blooket generator, chunking text, which I played around with today, and I want to share with you how to utilize that. Classroom newsletters. Sometimes it's really hard to come up with creating those. So here you have access to how to do that. I'm just going to click on it just to show you what pops up and what it looks like. You got your boxes for you to input your information. What did you do last week? What are you doing next week? Any other items you want to put, including translations. And then you hit start, and it's just going to input or output you a class newsletter. Okay. Some other tools that are here: class snapshot. If you want to have a strategic way to keep up with your data for your classroom, clear directions, how can you make them easy to follow? This will be great for students that have IEPs or 504s or that need that individualized learning. So there are many different tools here on KhanMigo that you can utilize. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want to show you all of those that are here. You can also interact with input in your classes. Yes, it might take a lot of time in the beginning, but once you create your class and input their information, you can utilize KhanMigo in your classroom with your students. Okay. You can post assignments and different things like that. So that's really cool. This here will list your students as you create those classes. And then you have this resource guide here that I thought was really cool. You got your goal setting templates, and all of these are basically, when you click on them, have those templates that you can ready use right here on KhanMigo. You got video note taking, you got student assignment tracker, um, choice boards. Don't know if you're doing reading groups or you utilize those. Even in social studies, science will be great to use. Punch cards, great for behavior contracts and things like that. Teacher shout out cards, sentence prompts and frames, coupons, Instagram posts, um, lesson plan templates. So you have tons of resources here that are already provided for you that you can print out and create and personalize for yourself. I'm gonna go back to these tools. Want to go here. You can make some plans. It just this here shows all the tools. This here basically breaks them down by their color zones. If you notice, green, purple, pink. So if you just want to plan, this will tell you which one of those um, tools that are used for planning. If you want to create something, the green ones are for creating. So that's what these little single ones are. The all tools show you all of them together. So I played around with KhanMigo because I remember being a middle school ELA teacher, how we used to have so many texts to read, right? So I ended up going to Common Lit because I love that website, especially when it comes to reading articles that can supplement what I'm teaching in my classroom. And I found an article called The Fastest Woman in the World. I went to, let me go back. I went to the chunk text option, right? And once I got here, I put my title in and I put my text in, okay? Just a simple copy paste. And it asked me, how do I want to chunk it? Chunk a longer text by ideas for comprehension or shorter by fluency. So it breaks that down for you. And here is what I got when I did that. So here is my article. And I would say when I printed it from Common Lit, it was 3 pages long, right? And it had up to 14 different sections or paragraphs. So this is how they chunked it. It gave me this information here, and then it chunked it out and even titled the different sections off for me. Okay. So that's one of the tools that I use, and I think this will be very efficient for especially articles and reading text. Maybe you're doing a chapter where you can be able to chunk this and meet with some groups. So KhanMigo is a really good AI tool that you can utilize. And then the last one from this page is FireFly Adobe. If you are an arts teacher, or even if you want to incorporate that into your classroom in some way, technology, FireFly Adobe is great for producing images. Okay, so let's go there. So, Adobe FireFly or FireFly Adobe. Again, you have your box here. What do you want to generate? And here is where you can decide, do you want to do an image, a video, or a vector? Type in your prompt and it'll give you exactly what it is that you typed in. Here are some different ideas that are shared here. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm one of those people that's really hard for me to get images and audios and videos, right? So I kept it very simplistic. So I want to show you a couple of things that I played around with on FireFly. So here are my files. I am a big lighthouse person and I love lighthouses. So I was like, what can I generate as an image, right? So here is one of my examples. So in my prompt, I said, I would like to generate an animated setting in the springtime. In the background, it's a sunny day. There's a beach with a lighthouse and a road with a car with a family in it driving by. They're headed up a winding mountain to a cabin in the woods. And this is what it generated for me. So I have this picture here. Can't really see the family in the car, but that's okay. This one wasn't a car, but the family's walking down the street. Got this one here and this one there with the family like sitting out the car or looking at it. So again, this is FireFly Adobe. Fun way if you're reading a text to have your students to type in a prompt to generate an image that goes along with whatever it is that you are learning in that area. This is a gallery just to show some different prompts that were already created. And then I have to show you my video. Again, I'm not one that's big on this particular type of learning, so I kept it kind of simple but fun. So here's my video. I said I would like to generate a video of a bird who flies into a library and discover books about music. The bird will find a picture book about springtime and will begin to add a tune to the words in the picture book. In the video, the bird will be flying all throughout the library and will end the video by flying out into a tree that's just started budding flowers. Now, I feel like my prompt might have been um, too filling, but I'm going to share with you what my video came out to be. Okay, so there's my video. Okay, just 5 seconds. Let me show you again. There's the library, and there it is flying into the tree with the couch on the outside, and it's springtime. But again, how much fun with students with their creativity? Because again, I wasn't very creative on that, but how would students love to create something in this way? So again, this is FireFly Adobe. Some other tools that I want to talk about, of course, you may already know about ChatGPT. Just remember to add your details in the prompt. Please review your results. There have been many times that I've utilized ChatGPT, and once I got my output, I'm reading through it and I'm like, this is not going to work in my classroom. So when you go into any AI engine, make sure to read through it and adapt it accordingly to what fits your audience. And then Grammarly, excuse the spelling there, but with Grammarly, it's more like an editor. It's great for using with writing tasks. I utilize it in my emails. So when I'm emailing someone, it always gives me suggestions of how to change things. Even when I am typing on Microsoft Word, it does the same thing. So Grammarly can be a great AI tool, especially if you're an ELA or language teacher, with having them to see what the most common mistakes are that they're making and talk about how that affects their writing, right? And then the last one would be Curipod or Nearpod. So let me show you those. ChatGPT, again, is the most common one that I know that many people started using. I didn't even know about ChatGPT until I was working a summer job and we were creating lessons to help middle schoolers in character development. So I was told about it and I was like, okay, let me try it out. So one of the things, putting your chats in, you got your tools here where you can create an image. search the web for something, run a deep search. If you're in college and you need to run a deep search on a topic, those are some things you can use. And then you have the library here. This was my library. I was creating a bulletin board and I wanted a sun that was hugging a book because it was a summertime board. So this was the image that it gave me. So I want to share with you some of the chats that I put in before. Let's go with growth mindset lesson. All right, so I was teaching about growth mindset. So I put in, I need 3 individual 1 hour lessons with objectives for middle school about growth mindset that are fun and engaging, provide materials that I would need for each lesson. Okay, certainly, here are your lessons. The first one is an intro to growth mindset that will understand the difference between a fixed and growth mindset. I need computer, I need a mindset sheet, whiteboards, and markers. So they gave me a video to watch, and the video is right here embedded into this lesson that they gave me. We're going to discuss the video, do a short quiz, discuss the quiz, wrap up. Okay? Simple, engaging lesson. The second one is the power of yet. Gives me my materials that I need. Yep, giving me my materials that I need. Again, has another video here. Have students draw a poster they can do yet but are working towards. Hang those up, do a gallery walk, and then brain as a muscle. Who doesn't like Play-Doh or clay, right? So we have that, brain training puzzles, or you can use apps. So I got some variety of learning tools there. So again, my 3 lessons, okay? And then I said, can you give me some scenarios for students to identify if it presents fits their growth mindset? Because I was like, I want to do a circle with them and I want them to be able to determine which one it is. So they gave me a math test example, a sports practice example, learning music, a musical example, group project example, new lesson. So it just continues to go down. The more you can input and interact in the prompt bar, again, the greater you're going to get as your output. Another example I want to share with you because I thought this was pretty neat. I did a humility tree activity plan, same as the lesson plan that I did here. I inputted what I would like, 30-minute activity that requires movement. So the humility tree gives me my goals and objectives, told me what I needed, how can I set up the tree, gave me the leaf creation, group reflection, and all of that. But I wanted an icebreaker that teaches them about humility first. So we got the icebreaker, the humility hot potato, because who doesn't love hot potato, right? And then all of the wrap up and things like that. Now, again, once I looked at the lesson, printed the lesson, read through the lesson, I adapted it based off of what I felt like my audience would need. So again, ChatGPT, interact with it. The more you can put in the input, the greater it'll be. Grammarly, again, this is something that you can use to help with editing. Not a whole lot to share here because I didn't play around with it. Again, the way I use Grammarly the most is in documents that I type and especially in my emails that I send. But you can click on these different tools, generate a blog post, ideas for a headline, ask for a favor, write an introduction email, thank you note. So if you are really big at writing tasks and things like that, and you want to have an idea that you can use for your classroom, Grammarly works well with that. If you are a teacher that's teaching writing, you can take their writing, plug it in here, and check for AI, text, and plagiarism. So that's also a good tool that's here on Grammarly that you can utilize. Curipod is an interactive AI tool that you can use, and it's just like Nearpod. Some schools have paid access in some school districts for Nearpod. So some of you may have heard of that one or been familiar with it. Curipod is the same, right? So with this particular lesson, that our presentation I'm doing today, I actually had included a reflection for them to play around with toward the end of my lesson. So what I did was I clicked on this tool that was here and I hit start lesson, and then oh yeah, the music's going. And then what happened was the participants entered this pin into the code, and then their names started popping up, right? And once their names popped up, it allowed me to be able to see who was all there. And then this button right here would say start, and I would be able to start. But as you can see, no one, well, actually, I want to plug in so you can kind of see and get a feel of how this goes. When I taught ELA and social studies, I loved using Nearpod as the lesson that I did. You can plug in your own PowerPoint presentations and make the questions and things that are tied into it apply to the lessons that you're teaching. Or Smiling Volcano, there I go. Or you can utilize the bank that they have of different lessons, right? So here is the person once your students log in. What I love about it is I would typically have my students to type their name in or a number in that I can recognize, because after you are done with the presentation, you can also get a report on their learning. So you can tell who was participating and who was not. All right, so basically, I just go through the slides and I say, hey, how would you consider using AI in the classroom? And the students would be participating along with me. So as we're going through, all right, gives me the information here. Here is the question that I want them to answer. And then on their particular device, they'll have the same question, and then they'll start typing in their responses. So once I hit start activity, I can even set my timer. Now the students will have this question on their device, and then they can type in. So again, this is Curipod. And then the last one is Nearpod. And again, it's just like Curipod, just a different company. When I was teaching middle school and our school had a paid access to this, I had a whole ton of lessons on social studies, ELA, testing prep that I could plug into and come here to get. But here in the Nearpod library, they already have designated lessons, and all you have to do is just click on them and decide if you want to utilize them. These are the featured lessons, right? Or you can filter it by whatever grade you're teaching. You can filter by subjects, content type. Maybe I want some that have a lot of videos, or maybe I want some that have activities, or maybe I want to have some with lessons. So let's take a look at the activities. So these are lessons that are already in the lesson bank that has activities that the students can do as they're interacting. Okay, so this one here is using inferences. It tells me what what the lesson is about. I can do a preview, or I can add it to my lesson. So I'm gonna preview it just to show you guys what it looks like. This is 6th to 8th grade. Okay, So if you're looking at the preview, it's showing me what's on each one of the slides. This is a multiple choice question. Here's another question, and it even gives me a passage. There's another one talking about inferences. So that's one of the lessons here. And again, I'm showing you this on Nearpod. Curipod works exactly the same. If I go to add it to my lessons, if you notice, it is there now. So I'm going to click on it. I want to preview it, and it's going to show it to me just like I was looking at it with you guys. And then if I wanted to teach it to my class, basically it's going to ask me, do you want to do it live where your students are following along with you, or student paced? I did this a lot, especially if it's a lesson and I want to see get some ideas on how they have picked up on the concept. I'll do student pace, and that means whenever they have a certain time period, they all will go on this independently and do it independently. The live participation is for us to do it together as a whole class. And I just want to show you, just like Curipod, once I hit that, it gives me the code. I share that with my students, or you can if you use Google Classroom in your class, you can use that. Or if you use Microsoft Teams, you're doing an online thing, you can plug it in there. And then you can decide how you want to share it with them. Once they all get plugged in, it'll get started here, and then you'll just basically go through the lesson with them. Okay. And that is Nearpod. So I pose this same question that I posed with the in-person participants. How will you consider using AI in the classroom? So again, yes, it might seem new to us, but AI have been around. It's just important for us as educators to empower our students and our learners to understand that it doesn't have to be a negative thing to utilize AI. Teach them how to utilize it to where, excuse me, it's not cheating and things like that. So think about that question. How will you use it? I do want to thank you for viewing this presentation today. Excuse me. Again, my name is Monanika Howard. I'm the Teaching, Learning, and Curriculum Librarian at Peabody Library. Excuse me. This is my contact information. Um, and if you can take a moment to If you can take a moment to scan the code on the screen and just give us some feedback on how this presentation was for you today. And then the last thing I would like to encourage you to do is join us on Instagram at BU Peabody Library. We would love to hear your feedback, get some suggestions of some tools that you're using for AI. But otherwise, we really do appreciate you taking the time to view this recording. Have a good day.